If you want to skip to a specific question or comment, you can find the timestamps in the description. The Drug Classroom runs entirely on donations. If you'd like to support, please visit patreon.com/thedrugclassroom. In your opinion, what's the safest psychedelic to take psychologically? There's not a specific psychedelic I can point to as the safest from a psychological standpoint, though there are psychedelics where the overall rate of difficult experiences might be lower. Some of those include 2CB, Alad, and 4-hydroxy-MET. It's clearly still possible to have difficult experiences, and it's not even clear that the rate is notably lower with those drugs. But I'm inclined to say a common dose of 2CB will generally be easier to handle than a common LSD dose. Although short-term difficult effects are not uncommon with psychedelics, lasting problems are rare regardless of the psychedelic. Issues like psychosis, depression, and HPPD might vary between substances, but they're not typical responses by any means with the class overall. You can also reduce the chance of acute psychological difficulties with psychedelics in general by using a common dose. If you're new to the category, using a low dose is wise. There are likely benefits to picking a shorter acting drug, such as 2CB, over a longer acting drug like LSD. Based on your life experiences, if you had to choose only one drug to take in your entire life, what would it be? No specific drug comes to mind. Salvia divinorum has been the most interesting for me, so that's one possibility. I use caffeine more than any other substance, though I don't find it remarkably helpful and tolerance does build. Tea would currently be my go-to substance for daily use. It's also possible I would pick a nootropic. I'm beginning to test more from that category, so I may come across something that stands out as useful. Is Adderall safe to use? My concentration and focus are weak, and I want to study harder and more than before. This depends on how Adderall is being used. Taking it once or twice per week at a common dose is not going to be physically dangerous for otherwise healthy people. It should also be used early enough to not infringe upon sleep. I consider it preferable not to end up relying on the substance for studying or taking tests, so I don't think it's wise to be in a situation where you use Adderall every time you need to study, write a paper, or take a test. Also, if you're in a situation where you have trouble focusing, Adderall needn't be the potential solution you immediately jump to. You should make sure your sleep, exercise, diet, and stress levels are in check. Meditation can also be helpful in this area, and you may benefit from seeing a physician to see if you potentially have ADHD, though most people with focus issues don't have ADHD. Other pharmacological options outside of amphetamine, such as tea, also exist. I'd recommend exploring those before considering amphetamine. Formaldehyde is or is not PCP. Formaldehyde definitely is not PCP. As you can see from their structures, they aren't even similar. I'm really not sure where this idea came from. It's presumably from PCP at times being referred to as embalming fluid, and formaldehyde is an embalming chemical. Regardless, it's an unhelpful name for the drug, and PCP isn't even close to formaldehyde. Harmala alkaloids, harmine, and harmaline are not MAOIs. They're RIMAs. There are similarities, but they are not the same. MAOIs are far riskier and last longer. Please cover that in a video about ayahuasca. Harmine and harmaline are MAOIs, and it can be dangerous to combine them with other substances acting in a pro-serotonin manner. You can certainly classify MAOIs further, just as you can for many drug groups. It is accurate to call them reversible inhibitors of monoamine oxidase A, but that's in addition to being classified as MAOIs. This means they're selective for MAOA over MAOB, and they operate in a reversible manner. Those qualities limit their activity period and interaction potential. A drug like harmine is less potentially problematic than phenelzine, for example. RIMAs in general are less problematic when it comes to combining them with tyramine, though that doesn't mean there are no safety precautions. Overall, there are definitely categories within MAOIs: selective or non-selective, reversible or irreversible, but they're all MAOIs. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section. Also, if you have questions for future Q&A videos, you can put them in the comments or send them via email, Facebook, or Twitter. If you'd like to support the Drug Classroom, please do so on Patreon at patreon.com/thedrugclassroom. Alternatively, you can contribute via PayPal and Bitcoin.